It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
Chad says, I'm hoping to retire early. I'm currently 43 and I want to retire by 55.
Okay.
Should we stop contributing the maximum to our pre-tax 401k, so they're maxing out the 401k on the pre-tax side, and ramp up our bridge account investing? So when he says bridge account, he's talking about his third bucket, his after-tax account. If he's thinking about an early retirement at 55, is that something that he should do, or how should he approach making that decision?
Yeah, Chad, you're actually, and this is what I love about it when we design the financial order of operations, you are reaching that level of 7, hyperaccumulation, step 7, and the fact that you are thinking about the 3 bucket strategy. You do have 3 pots of money that you deal with. You have your after tax, which is your taxable brokerage accounts. You have your tax deferred, which is your traditional 401ks. That's your employer match plus what you put in pre-tax. And then you have your tax free, which is your Roth IRAs, your Roth 401ks, your Roth 403bs. All those things, you don't get a tax deduction when you put it in, but anything that you do contribute in those Roth accounts will grow completely tax free when you pull it out. It's nice to have diversification on where your tax location is as well, because it is, especially for somebody who's retiring 55, 50, any of the early retirees, this is great because then you have a plan of action for the 59 and a half early withdrawal penalties and other things. So I would definitely think that Chad is at the point that he should think about that bridge. Sure. But there's a few things to make sure we pay respect to. First of all, how much money does Chad and his family make? Because if you're in the highest of high tax brackets where you're not only paying the 37%, but you're paying the Medicare surcharges and all things, you might, and especially if you add your state income tax, if you live in a high tax state,
it could be costly not to do the
you might be shocked to find out that you're paying close to 50% of your, and even more than 50%. I mean, I was shocked to find out on my marginal rate was 37%, but I paid 41% after you put in all the things that the effective rate was actually higher. And I think that happens to a lot of people in high income situations. So if you're in that type of situation, you have no other option but to max out retirement because you're hoping that you have the ability to manipulate into a lower tax rate at retirement because you won't have as much income coming into it. But I would say somebody who, is in the situation where maybe you're not in the highest tax bracket, at least make sure you're getting the employer match. That's that free money. At least get the $19,500 in basic employer plans, and then start building that bridge account.
And remember, one of the unique things when you retire, if you are an early retiree and you retire at 55. And you have a 401k at the company you are retiring at, you can actually begin drawing funds at age 55 as opposed to 59 and a half. So
that's right.
While you are an early retiree, you might have access to retirement assets more quickly than you would have thought. It's not a hard and fast 59 and a half rule. As with most things in financial planning, what you really want to do is you want to kind of control for uncertainties. We have no idea what the tax environment in this country is going to be 12 years from now. So if you can build up that 3-bucket strategy, it allows you to pick and choose which buckets you pull from, whether you pull from the after-tax bucket if we're in a high-tax environment, or maybe you pull from the 401k if we're in a low-tax environment. Building up those 3 is going to give you maximum flexibility so that you can optimize your financial circumstance through time.
So I feel like the way we answer questions is I'm like the snapper mower that comes through, but then you're like the snapper mower that has the attachment on the back that just gives a much wider cut.
Got it. Okay,
because what you just did was I gave the basic 3-bucket strategy, but I left out the 55-year-old exception to 401ks, 403bs. So that was okay. We were covered because you were the implement on the back that just broadened the way we cut that grass.
I'm excited to be the
well
leader.
done. Well done.
Happy to do that. That was a great question, Chad, and congratulations. Can I throw one other thing on now?
Do they even make snapper mowers anymore? I know Briggs and Stratton bought them. By the way, fun fact, Snapper Mowers was headquartered in my hometown of McDonough, Georgia. I don't think it's made anymore, but fun fact.
What I imagine is all 100,000 of our subscribers are sitting home right now saying, Brian, that is a fun fact. Yeah. What an interesting little tidbit. Here's another thing, Chad. You want to make sure you do this right and do this well. If you are planning on an early retirement, you're making some big changes about shifting your savings, that might not be a horrible time to think about taking the relationship to the next level, reaching out to a professional financial advisor just to kind of give you a spot check and help you figure out, okay, how do I begin to land this plane. Because again, you only get one good shot at early retirement, and some of the stuff you need to do needs to start happening 5 and 10 years prior. So not a horrible time to seek some professional advice there.